Some stories are not meant to be told. They linger in the shadows, hidden between the cracks of memory and the silence of old walls. These stories are not written in books or spoken aloud in the daylight. Instead, they are carried by the wind, whispered from one trembling voice to another, growing with each retelling, yet never quite the same. They live in the quiet corners of old buildings, in the whispers that travel down long empty hallways. Every creak of the floorboards, every sigh of the wind through broken windows, seems to carry a secret. In these forgotten places, the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting for someone to listen, to notice the subtle signs that something is not quite right. This is one such story, a true account from a college hostel in Karnataka, passed down in hushed tones as a warning. Some doors are better left unopened. The hostel itself is a relic, its walls heavy with decades of laughter, secrets, and sorrow. Among the students, tales of strange happenings are exchanged like currency, but none are spoken of more cautiously than the events surrounding Room 207. The events that unfolded in Room 207 changed Arjun's life forever, beginning not with a ghost, but with a sound, a recording on a mobile phone that should not exist. It was late at night when Arjun first heard it, a faint, desperate whisper, barely audible beneath the static. He tried to convince himself it was a prank, a trick of the mind, but the fear in the voice was unmistakable. That single recording set off a chain of events that would unravel the very fabric of what Arjun believed was possible. Prepare to step into the dim corridor of that old hostel, to stand before the door of Room 207 and listen to the story of the last phone call. As you do, remember, some stories are not meant to be told, but once you hear them, you can never forget. The walls remember, even if you try not to. Arjun, a new student, was assigned Room 207 in the old hostel block, a room that seemed perfectly ordinary. He settled in, arranging his books and enjoying the lively hostel atmosphere. At night, he sometimes heard faint scratching behind the walls, but dismissed it as rats or the old building settling. The heavy, old-fashioned brass lock on his door seemed odd, but he thought little of it. Arjun didn't believe in ghost stories. He felt safe, surrounded by his books and dreams. He had no idea his logical world was about to be shattered by the secrets hidden within Room 207. About a week after moving into the hostel, Arjun was just beginning to settle into his new routine. The nights were usually quiet, filled with the distant hum of ceiling fans and the occasional laughter from late-night conversations down the hall. But on this particular night, as the clock's hands crept past 2, a soft, rhythmic knock echoed through his room, precisely at 2:30 a.m. The sound was gentle, almost polite, but in the stillness of the night, it felt unnaturally loud, as if it was meant only for him. Half asleep and thinking it was just one of his friends playing a prank, Arjun hesitated for a moment before getting up. He opened the door, expecting to see someone stifling a laugh or running away. Instead, he was greeted by an empty, silent corridor. The hallway was bathed in a faint, eerie glow from the emergency lights, and not a soul was in sight. The only sound was the distant ticking of the wall clock. The next night, as Arjun tried to convince himself it was just his imagination, the knock returned, again, exactly at 2:30 a.m. This time, he didn't open the door right away. He pressed his ear against the wood, heart pounding, but heard nothing except the faint rustle of leaves outside. When he finally peeked out, the corridor was empty once more. A sense of unease began to settle in, heavier than before. The following day, Arjun couldn't shake off the feeling that something was wrong. During lunch, he casually mentioned the midnight knocks to a group of seniors, expecting them to laugh it off or share their own stories of harmless hostel pranks. Instead, their faces turned serious, and the room seemed to grow colder. One of the older students leaned in, his voice low and urgent. "Don't ever open your door after midnight," he warned, his eyes fixed on Arjun. Another senior shook his head, making a stern gesture as if to emphasize the gravity of the warning. The message was clear. This was no ordinary prank, especially not in that room, the senior added, glancing meaningfully at Arjun's door. Room 207. The way he said it sent a chill down Arjun's spine, as if there was a secret everyone else knew but him. The warning was stark, and it unsettled Arjun more than the mysterious knocking itself. Suddenly, the room he had started to call home felt unfamiliar, even threatening. Every shadow seemed deeper, every creak in the walls more sinister. That night, Arjun made sure to lock his door tightly, double-checking the latch before crawling into bed. He lay awake, eyes wide open in the darkness, straining to hear any sound. Every little noise made him flinch, and sleep felt impossible. As the hours dragged on, Arjun found himself questioning what was real and what was just his imagination. The line between logic and fear began to blur, and he wondered if he was truly alone in that room. He waited in the dark, heart pounding, wondering what would come next, and whether he would ever feel safe in room 207 again. The knocking became routine, but on September 14th, everything changed. At 11:30 p.m., Arjun's phone rang, an unknown number. He answered, hearing only slow, heavy breathing. The call came again and again, each time the same chilling silence and breath. He tried to dismiss it as a prank, but the room felt colder, more hostile. The silence after the calls was oppressive. He felt watched. That night, the terror was no longer outside his door. It was inside the room with him. The real haunting had begun. Anxious, Arjun checked his voicemail. There was a message from the unknown number. Static, then a woman's whisper. "Don't open the door." The voice was sorrowful, real, and deeply unsettling. As he tried to process it, a new knock sounded. Not from the corridor, but from inside the room, from the wardrobe. Tap, tap, tap. Arjun froze, terror mounting as the knocking echoed in the silence. The wardrobe was empty, yet the sound was unmistakable. The room fell into a tense, expectant silence. Paralyzed, Arjun's eyes darted around the room. Behind the faded blue curtain, a dark silhouette appeared, tall, motionless, unmistakably human. Fear overwhelmed him. He bolted for the door, fumbling with the old brass lock. He ran down the corridor to his friend Samir's room, breathless and terrified. Arjun recounted everything, the calls, the knocking, the shadow. Samir, seeing his fear, believed him instantly. Together, they rushed to wake the hostel warden. The warden, Mr. Rao, listened intently as Arjun recounted every detail of his harrowing experience. The more Arjun spoke, the more Mr. Rao's brow furrowed, his concern deepening at the mention of room 207. The other students standing nearby exchanged nervous glances, sensing the gravity of the situation. Mr. Rao's usually calm demeanor was replaced by a tense silence, as if he was weighing something heavy on his mind. He asked Arjun to repeat certain details, his voice low and urgent, and the hallway seemed to grow colder with every word. Without another word, Mr. Rao led Arjun and his friend back down the dimly lit corridor. The echo of their footsteps was the only sound as they approached room 207. With a practiced hand, Mr. Rao unlocked the door and pushed it open. The room was exactly as Arjun had left it. Neatly made bed, books stacked on the desk, and not a single thing out of place. There was no evidence of anyone else having entered. The air inside felt heavy, as if it was holding its breath. The wardrobe stood open, its contents undisturbed. The window, which Arjun was certain he had seen move, was now firmly shut. The terror that had gripped him the night before seemed to have vanished without a trace, leaving only an unsettling silence behind. The room looked perfectly ordinary, but the sense of unease lingered, as if the walls themselves remembered what had happened. Mr. Rao's face grew even more grim as he surveyed the room. He turned to the boys, his voice barely above a whisper. "This room was never meant to be allotted," he said, his words heavy with meaning. "There's a reason it's kept locked, a reason no one is supposed to stay here." The students felt a chill run down their spines, realizing that something far more serious was at play. Mr. Rao hesitated, as if debating whether to share what he knew. Finally, he revealed a tragic history, one the college had tried desperately to keep buried. Years ago, something terrible had happened in room 207, an incident so disturbing that the administration had decided to seal the room off for good. The details were whispered among staff, but never spoken aloud to students, until now. "You should not have been in here. No one should," Mr. Rao warned, his tone urgent and protective. He gestured for the boys to step out, as if the very air inside the room was dangerous. The students obeyed, their curiosity now mixed with fear, realizing that they had stumbled into something much bigger than themselves. As the door closed behind them, the mystery of room 207 seemed to grow even darker. The secret that had been hidden for so long was now on the verge of being revealed. Shadows danced across the hallway, and the boys felt the weight of the unknown pressing in on them. The true horror, Mr. Rao explained, was not what Arjun had seen that night, but what had happened years before, a tragedy that had left a permanent mark on the college's history. As the boys listened, they realized that some secrets refused to stay buried, and that room 207 was more than just an empty room. It was a silent witness to a dark secret that was finally coming to light. In his office, the warden told the boys the truth. Years ago, a student in room 207, suffering from depression, made desperate phone calls that never connected. Only breathing was heard. She died by suicide in that room, her final moments echoing in missed calls and silence. Afterward, every new occupant reported the same knocks, calls, and shadows. The room was sealed, its story fading into legend, until Arjun was mistakenly assigned there. The haunting was not of anger, but of sorrow, a girl's final plea, replaying endlessly. Room 207 was a monument to a tragedy that refused to be forgotten. Arjun was moved to a new room, but the haunting followed him. When he checked his phone, the voice note had been renamed Last Call Duck207.mp3, created at the exact center of room 207. The college sealed the room again, but Arjun could not escape the memory. Even after graduation, he still receives calls. Unknown numbers, only the sound of slow, heavy breathing. The last call never ends. The sorrow of room 207 lingers, a whisper that found a new way to be heard. Some stories refuse to fade, echoing through walls, through time, through every unanswered call. And so, the legend of room 207 lives on.